All right, Carrie, thank you very much. Hey, Richmond area artist Dana Frostick has studied art intensively since she was knee-high to an easel, turning her passion for painting and drawing into a career.
Richmond born and raised, some of Dana's paintings are currently on display at a local gallery, and she joins us this morning with a few pieces of her artwork. Welcome, Dana.
Hi, Dana.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Seems like art has been a part of your life all your life. Tell us where your interest came from.
I can't remember when I wasn't doing art. Even in first grade, it was very important to me, and I remember meeting a friend of my brother's who's a little bit older than me when I was about 8 years old, and he was an artist in Richmond, and it just really inspired me to really want to continue with that as a career.
What kind of art were you doing as a child? Just doodling?
Started out as a lot of horse drawing, and and then I have a twin sister, and we would make toys together, little monsters that we would draw and make into things, and just anything that we could get our hands on, all kinds of crafts, paint by number, and stuff like that.
Now, were you two competitive?
Oh yeah, we pushed each other. We constantly were trying to excel, get better than the other one.
Did you ever think that this was going to become a career, or was this really just a hobby?
You know, art has always been the only thing I've ever wanted to do. I've had other careers. I've been in the newspaper business for a while, but the only thing that really ever interested me was actually making art.
Well, you brought some of your art for us to look at today, and you've got an installation right now at one of the local galleries. If we could, let's take a look at the first painting. If you could tell us about this, Dana.
This is called Joker Under a Microscope, and it's one of the pieces that's at the gallery at Frame Nation right now. It's an abstract piece, and this painting is basically a part of a series where I don't start with a preconceived idea. I go with just an automatic drawing, and then the painting kind of evolves on its own.
That's an interesting technique and colors there. How did you come up with this idea particularly?
Back when I was studying at VCU, and just shortly after that in the late 80s, I started to kind of get involved with that sort of abstract drawing, and it just felt free. It felt like I was kind of tapping into what's out there instead of trying to enforce my will on the piece. So I kind of went back to this after some of my more realistic work earlier.
Speaking of realistic work, we have another piece that was just sitting next to that abstract. Looked like it was sort of an outdoor scene right here.
Yeah.
What do we have here, Dana?
This is a painting that I did that's based on a photo I took at the Grand Canyon, and that series was called Formations, Another View, and they're straight up landscape paintings, but then I named them based on what I saw in the painting afterwards, after it was finished. And I'm a fan of H.P. Lovecraft, and this piece sort of looked like a crazy monster coming at you, so this is Cthulhu's Gaze.
And it's interesting looking at the paintings. It doesn't seem like you have a particular style that you stick to. Do you just paint what you feel?
I do. I paint what I feel. The only thing that really stays in common with my art is that every single layer influences the next layer. So I'll put a layer of one color on and then see what color speaks to me, what has to go next.
Are you working on one piece at a time, Dana, or is it something that you're juggling 4 or 5 different canvases?
Typically, I like to have at least 3 pieces going at one time. Right now, I've got one piece that's almost finished in my studio, another piece that started, and 2 blank canvases.
Okay.
Those are the ones you go, oh, blank.
Yes.
Let's take a look at the last piece that you brought for us to take a look at today. This is a little bit, again, a little bit different.
Yeah, this is called Green Building, and this was part of a series called Industrial Sites. Some years ago in Richmond, I went around and took a lot of photos of buildings that were either being constructed or deconstructed, and this was a building that was on Hermitage near the SPCA, but it's no longer there anymore. So this was kind of an older building that was decomposing.
It lives on in your painting.
It does.
Now, you started drawing as a child. What would you say? I mean, a lot of times we're seeing these creative arts being taken out of our schools, and children aren't really learning how to tap into their creativity. What would you say about that?
It's so sad. It really is. There was a program when I was going into high school where Henrico County offered to the students where we could, during the summer, it's a 6 weeks program, we could go all day long. We learned how to do clay, we learned how to stretch canvases, we learned how to paint. It was so inspirational, and by the time I was in high school, I already knew how to paint. And now you have to wait until you're in college or until you can get out of your career, and it's just, I think it stifles creativity, and it's not good for our economy either. So
Dana, what is it like to wake up every single morning and do what you love as your career?
It's a dream come true, Greg. It really is, and I'm just so thrilled that I got the opportunity to do it. I worked for a long time and full-time, and just kind of painted when I could. And now that I've remarried, and my husband was such a big fan of my work that he insisted that I go ahead and do this as a living, and it's really been great. I've just enjoyed it. I have not looked back, no.
Sounds like you picked the right guy.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved it.
Well, I'll tell you, it was great to meet you.
You too. Thank you.